Denied the opportunity to address Eurovision on Saturday, Volodymyr Zelensky has nevertheless been granted audiences with some of Europe's most powerful leaders in the last few days. A warm embrace between the Ukrainian President and Prime Minister Rishi Sunak on Monday morning at Chequers. British admiration meeting with Ukrainian gratitude.
Winston Churchill made many of his famous speeches in World War II from this room. And in the same way today, your leadership, your country's bravery and fortitude are an inspiration to us all.
You did a lot, your government and His Majesty, the King, and of course your people, your society. We're very thankful from all our hearts from Ukrainians.
The UK will provide Ukraine with air defence missiles and attack drones, in addition to the Storm Shadow long-range cruise missiles promised by Defence Secretary Ben Wallace last week. Speaking on the eve of his European tour, Zelensky said he was confident that Russian occupiers are internally prepared for defeat. But the Russian attacks continue, including here in Ternopil, the hometown of Ukraine's Eurovision entry, whilst the song contest was taking place. Fierce fighting in the eastern city of Bakhmut is also ongoing, and Kyiv is set to launch a counteroffensive. Rome was President Zelensky's first port of call on Saturday, meeting his Italian counterpart Sergio Mattarella before holding talks with Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. Italy says it will continue to provide Ukraine with weapons and support the country's application for EU membership.
E siamo ovviamente pronti a fornire ogni possibile assistenza a Kiev quando Kiev riterrà che ci saranno le condizioni per poter avviare un qualsiasi dialogo negoziale. Sosteniamo la formula di pace in 10 punti del presidente Zelensky che è stata proposta nei mesi scorsi.
That peace formula was put to Pope Francis later on Saturday, as Zelensky sought the pontiff's support for his 10-point plan. Francis did indicate the Vatican would help with the repatriation of Ukrainian children taken by Russians. On to Germany on Sunday, a country which was initially hesitant to provide Ukraine with lethal weapons. It is now second only to the US in providing aid to Ukraine. Olaf Scholz's government will provide €2.7 billion of additional military aid, including tanks, anti-aircraft systems and ammunition. Later that evening, it was on to Paris for dinner with French President Emmanuel Macron. France has pledged additional military aid in the form of light tanks, armoured vehicles and training for soldiers. Today in rural Buckinghamshire, President Zelensky sought greater aerial support from Ukraine's allies, although Downing Street says there are no plans to supply Typhoon or F-35 jets.
We want to create this jets coalition, and I'm very positive with it. We spoke about it, and I see that in the closest time you will hear some, I think, very important decisions, but we have to work a little bit more on it.
It's not just the provision of planes, it's also the training of pilots and all the logistics to go alongside that. Now the UK can play a big part of that. One thing we will be doing, starting actually relatively soon, is training of Ukrainian pilots.
Rishi Sunak will attend the Council of Europe summit in Iceland tomorrow, followed by the G7 summit in Japan. A busy week for the Prime Minister as he calls for ongoing international support for Ukraine in its fight to reclaim its territory.